Reddit stories number 1. This dude Russ, who owns a company my workplace contracts with. It has extremely obscure environmental tech stuff. His normal look is blue jeans and a Slayer t-shirt, and he loves talking about his teenage years playing in punk bands while he taught himself PLC programmable logic controller programming. This is used in a lot of manufacturing machinery, and a lot of what he does is obsolete today, but the places that built their operations on it still use it and rely on people who know it to keep their facilities going. He is a multi-millionaire, but you'd never know it. He is also fucking brilliant. He once got annoyed with a recurring problem in one machine as programming, so he completely designed a system from the ground up where he could diagnose and interact with that issue remotely at home rather than drive 2 hours to be in front of the machinery. If you can excel in an obscure industry and still be a totally average person, that is real success. IMO. Reddit stories number 2. My best friend. He is literally the nicest person I have ever met, and he also won't take shit from anyone. If somebody is being shitty to him, he is calm and collected and tells them off in the most socially acceptable of ways, but also just fucking shuts them down. If somebody is being shitty to one of his friends, it is over for them. They wish they lived on the other side of the planet after he tears into them. Then he is really good at comforting people and listening. He is also extremely supportive of everyone's interests, even if he has to interest in it himself. I just wish he'd let his friends do the same. One time, when he was in high school, his friend was pregnant and she was being bullied a lot. This one girl in particular was awful to her, and while they were hanging out in the stairwell between classes, she came up to them and started insulting this poor, 6 months pregnant teenager, and then she made the mistake of physically putting her hands on.
He ended up getting hurt some, but she avoided the pregnant girl like the plague after that. That's the only time he has put his hands on somebody, and I can respect that. I mean, what kind of asshole attacks a defenseless pregnant teenager? Not him.
Reddit stories number 3.
I would have to say my aunt. She is amazing in every way. She is gay and comes from a family who did not support her, but she always stood up for herself and who she was. Then she managed to escape from the abuse she suffered and run away with her girlfriend. She is like a role model to me and was always there for me when I was growing up. She was like a second mother. She used to have it hard with money when I was younger, so she would draw me things or coloring pages for me for birthdays and Christmas. I still cherish those drawings and coloring pages. I haven't spoken to her in years, but damn, I am proud of her and I fucking miss her.
Reddit stories number 4.
His name is Scott. I met him on a camping trip. He is a friend of a friend. He does intense mountaineering and had very cool stories to tell from that. But that wasn't what made him cool. On this camping trip, we were going to hike to a 14,000-foot peak in Colorado. Scott does this regularly. Most of our group had done a couple. This was my first one. I ended up turning around a couple 100 feet before the summit. I wasn't prepared for the snow and ice. It was July. Most of my friends gave me a little trash talk for turning around. Scott said, "Great decision. He who turns around lives to climb another day." I really appreciated that he didn't want to peer pressure me into something dangerous, even though to him this was an easy hike. In addition to that, he also has a cool job as an architect and has another hobby he turned into a profitable side gig. I remember on that trip thinking, when I grow up, I want to be like Scott. He is a couple years younger than me.
Reddit stories number 5.
My uncle on my dad's side got a degree in opera, did lots of musical theater, opera performances in his youth, was in a show slated for Broadway until the Greek mafia, I am doubting this, got involved. His apartment building's landlord was shit, so he just became everyone's handyman. One of his neighbors thought he was good, so he hired my uncle into his engineering firm. Somehow that tracked to my uncle becoming the vice president of an incredibly successful water engineering company. May I remind you all, the only advanced degree he has is in music. Somewhere along this trip he was also a bathing suit model. He is also a magnet for famous people. Got seated next to Jack Hanna on a flight and managed to make friends. They still keep in touch. He claims to have been in a band with Yanni in college. I was really skeptical of this one, but I checked and they were at the same place at the same time, so it is possible. He is also just a real stand-up guy. Sup.
Reddit stories number 6.
Probably my dad. He grew up in a shit cultist household, but left it and raised us 3 kids in a loving family with our mom. He has worked construction and public services, and he has been a firefighter and a cop, and has seen so much terrible shit that would break a regular person, but he always comes home wanting to be happy. He has like 6'3" and 240 of solid muscle and loves doing work with his hands, spending time w his family, and drunkcore stuff. He has got some issues that he went and saw a therapist for, and he has a good dude all around. I love my dad a lot, and I think he is just the coolest dude ever despite everything he has been through.
Reddit stories number 7. I guess I don't know him, but I met some random old dude on a chairlift. There we raised 6 of us on this lift. He hit us up like, what is the wildest thing you guys have done on this mountain? We all said some piss poor excuse because, well, it is just some random old dude. Well, he pipes up, back in '69 my buddy and I hiked to the top to watch the sunset and got high on mushrooms. Took us all night to get down. But if we were talking about this season, I jumped a fence to ski some fresh fluffy powder. Got caught by ski patrol at the bottom, and they wanted to take my ski pass. I told them I had dementia and they rang my wife. She told them she has been looking for me all day and I got to keep my ski pass. At this point our jaws had hit the ground, the lift got to the top of the mountain and he skied off, never to be seen again. I can't wait to be a something. Tell some mid-20 ass kids how I used to rock it when I was younger. Reddit stories number 8. My dad is as cool as a cucumber, always has been. I am literally is so mental stable it has shaken me a few times. Dude had a 20-year career as an ER tech in the Marine Corps, was a Mustang that made it to a major in that field, which is pretty crazy. All this while holding down a household of me, always in trouble. My little brother has SMA and was on life support for 21 years, and mom who was always barely holding onto her sanity for obvious reasons. He also got a college degree right before retiring so he could make a bit more when he got on the sheriff department. He rock a normal cop job though. He is always surrounded by chaos and high pressure situations and never gets more heated than saying, "Dang it, I don't get it. I feel like a loose cannon compared to this fool." Example of when it shook me, when my little brother died, we were all around him, hugging and crying. Dude was stone-faced. I did see a tear when his grandfather died. Reddit stories number 9.
My grandfather on my dad's side, he lied about his age in Wee to join the REF, where he would parachute down as a paramedic to victims of the Blitz. He was something of a Renaissance man, winning awards for dancing, as a concert pianist, a painter, and an architect. Despite said awards, he told me his proudest achievement was telling Thatcher to fuck off to her face before being escorted away. He was being consulted on some business plan XD. But more than that, he had a fathomless depth of love for my grandmother. They were an incredibly sweet couple into their 80s, and when she got her final sickness he would literally be there by her bed before opening times and until he was forced out at the end of the day.
Reddit stories number 10.
My best friend. He will make even the most socially anxious person super comfortable almost immediately. If we are at a party and someone seems a bit nervous, he will get them involved in some way or another. He radiates love, is a dive instructor, has majestic dreadlocks, and channels the most nature-loving earth mother shit you've ever seen, all while genuinely not understanding why so many people adore him. He has a drug-related superpower. No matter how hard you are tripping, give Jay a cuddle and it will pull you right back from the brink. Every damn time. And he spent full months living in the bush, only going in with a few knives and a tarp. The list of reasons why he is the coolest person I know is endless. No fucking clue why he calls a pleb like me his best friend. I certainly feel blessed to know him at all.